Joining us now, Senator John Boozman from Senate Appropriations and Congresswoman Ashley Hinson from House Budget. First to you, Senator. How did the White House let a Marxist get this close to power? And do you believe, Senator Warren, that the attacks on Saul Omarova are racist and sexist?
No, this is another example of President Biden or whoever's in charge of the White House bringing forth a candidate that's totally out of touch with the American people. This individual would have great oversight of the banking industry, and the reality is she would do away with private banking, federalize the banking system. You can imagine, if you're somebody that the administration is not in favor of, the chances of getting a loan. I've often said that the backbone of America, the backbone of our economy, is small business. The backbone of small businesses are community banks. This would kill our community banks.
Yeah, we hear you what Senator Boozman is saying, Congresswoman. Let's show the viewer what her policy positions have been in the past. She supports, as we've heard, bankrupting oil and gas companies for climate change, throwing millions out of work as gas prices soar. And Congresswoman, she wants the Federal Reserve to control all bank accounts. As Senator Boozman just said, obliterate community banks. She also wants to the Federal Reserve Bank to control stock prices, like shorting stocks and buying stocks on the cheap and setting wages. What do you say?
Well, this is fundamentally truly radical policies that we're talking about here, and it goes to the intent of what the Democrats in Congress under Speaker Pelosi right now are trying to do, what the Biden administration is trying to do, and that is just more government influence in every aspect of our lives from cradle to grave. Obviously, we're in the midst of fighting back on a major piece of legislation, the BBB, the big bust for taxpayers right now. They're trying to supersize the IRS to come after hardworking American families in a time when we need to be focusing on those kitchen table conversations that are actually affecting American workers and Iowans every day. And so I think what we've truly seen is these radical policies, these radical nominees showcased, and it's indicative of where this administration wants this government to go.
Yeah, to the Congresswoman's point, the GOP House Leader, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, and you know about this too, Senator, there's new analysis coming out about what the White House and the Democrats want for the IRS, $80 billion. It would double the number of audits, 1.2 million audits over a 10-year period, I think, and it would go after those making $75,000 and under. So there's that going on with a push on getting more IRS power. And then you have, what was your reaction when you heard the idea that Saul Omarova can split out and separate herself from her prior policy ideas, that these were just thought experiments when, we've seen her forcefully defend these ideas for more than a decade? Can she dial it back? Could she be split out her thought process and be a regulator?
No, I think it's ridiculous. And the idea that you couldn't find somebody that was more mainstream is absolutely crazy. You mentioned the IRS agents, $80 billion, almost doubling the budget of the IRS, 87,000 new agents. Being in a situation where after you reach a threshold of $10,000 in your checking account, all of that information starts going to the IRS. The list goes on and on and on. And that's why, as you mentioned in the earlier segment, why the president's approval ratings are at an all-time low.
Yeah, we hear you on that, and we're showing a Fox News poll on this as well. Congresswoman Hinson, we have the president telling the FTC, go after oil and gas companies for price gouging. We saw that happen under the Obama administration. The President Obama, in the first term, said oil and gas price gouging when Goldman Sachs was saying oil was going to go to 100. This is typical, right? When your policy shop is empty, you sic the regulators. So we have Omarova. Let's show the photograph of her at Moscow State University. She won a scholarship. She was a the Lenin Personal Academic Scholarship. You're going to see that's Omarova in a circle. She wrote her thesis on Karl Marx. Congresswoman, I'd like your reaction to what Senator John Kennedy said today at the hearing. Watch.
Have you resigned
from the
Young Communists?
You grow out of it with age, automatically.
Did you send them a letter though, resigning?
Senator, this was many, many years ago.
She renounced her Soviet citizenship.
Well, I understand that, but you're not the witness. She is.
What do you
Well,
say,
it's very
Congresswoman?
clear. Yeah, it's very clear, Liz, that this is, again, this goes to her intent long term, and this is a truly radical policy, radical past, and I think it should be a warning shot for the Biden administration. This is the kind of person that they are nominating to these very, very important positions. And you talk about the oil and gas and the targeting of those industries right now. Their policies are clearly failing, and the reason Americans are paying double at the gas, fill up their gas tank right now is a direct result of the Biden administration policies to reduce domestic production. That'll fix the problem. We need to unleash energy opportunity here in the United States. Iowa, for instance, produces a lot of biofuels. We have a ready example to help that's climate friendly, I might add, which is a priority of this administration that can help with this immediately to lower that price that people are paying at the pump. So we have opportunity, and they completely turn a blind eye to it. They have the spending spigot focus, and that's what the blinders are on right now for the Biden administration.
And Senator, to the Congresswoman's point, you know, the president's approval ratings are dropping as prices go up. It's like his Ford. Remember, President Ford did whip inflation now, and Nixon had a problem with price increases. And you look at the numbers of the preference now. Americans want now Republicans to run Congress at levels we haven't seen since 1981 when Reagan took over. So this is a moment we're in. We've got the president asking China, Japan, and India to tap their strategic petroleum reserves to cover for their possible emergency move that we only see during things like the Arab oil crisis, right? Embargo crisis. You know what I mean? So this upside down in policy in the White House is reflected in the polls. Your final words, Senator Boozman.
Well, I think the difference in Nixon and Ford is this administration is intentionally creating the higher prices. When you go in and get rid of the Keystone Pipeline, when you have a situation where you nix drilling on public lands, we're getting more oil from Russia now than we are from Alaska. That's driving up cost. The average price of gasoline is $1.25 more than it was a year ago. Americans this Thanksgiving in many areas are going to be a lot colder.
Yeah,
people on fixed incomes because fuel costs are going to be up 30%.
We got to go. Senator John Boozman, Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, it's great to have you both on. It's good to see you.